to win this, to be event specialist of the year. How's that feel? That's got to be amazing and a nice way to put an official bow on your freshman season.
Yeah, it feels incredible. I'm honestly surprised, but really honored to get such a prestigious award. I did not expect in my first year to get one of the 3 athletic awards that SEC gives out.
Let me ask you a little bit more about that because, I mean, it's not just this. You're an All-American. You were 5th in the country on the beam, multiple weekly awards in the SEC for, all of your great performances this year. And how do you kind of process all those accolades and everything? What do they mean to you?
Honestly, I never really even planned to even go for such big things almost. Like, I guess the way I've always approached gymnastics, I never really set so concrete goals like awards and titles and scores. I always just wanted to get out there and do the absolute best that I could. And when I came to Mizzou, I guess a lot more than I had expected ended up coming out of it. I put everything that I had into it, and so much more came out of it.
You were remarkably consistent, but you also got better, as the season went on. And how do you feel like you just consistently got better and better and better, especially on the beam, where by the end of the year, you were legitimately challenging for perfect tens or your last 4 or 5 times out?
It was awesome. I was so excited. I've always loved beam. It's always been my favorite event. And I really wanted to get that 10 this year, but, season got cut short. I was most proud of my progress in all the other events because beam has always been an event that I've succeeded in, but, floor, vault, sometimes bars, I've always been a little less confident on. And being able to really progress that here at Mizzou has been really exciting for me because it really opened up gymnastics in a way that hasn't been possible for me before in club.
What clicked for you that allowed you to gain that confidence in some of the other events that haven't always been your forte? Was it in the coaching?
It's a little bit of everything, and definitely I think environment was the biggest change for me because I came from a very small club. I'm the 3rd gymnast to ever go to college gymnastics from my, old gym. And when I came to Mizzou, both because of the coaching staff and because of the team and general athletics energy, it really pushed me harder than I have ever pushed myself in club. And so with that extra motivation and coaches with more experience, I was able to develop a lot more than I ever believed I could.
You faced a little adversity. I think it was the first time you went 9.95 on the road at Kentucky.
And a freshman, and she's the anchor. That is, you gotta feel good about yourself.
You're going into that night, you're not feeling great, but you push through and you get one of your best scores of the season. How much did that play into the year that you ended up having?
It really pushed me to think more than just myself individually as a gymnast, but more for the team. I wasn't feeling good. I, was coughing all night, barely had a voice that day, but I knew that my team needed me and they needed a good score. And so I knew I had to push myself and do my best to rise for the occasion. And I guess that set an expectation and a standard that continued to push me to do better, not just for myself, but for Mizzou and for my team for the season.
How are you taking that motivation that we know you have and continuing to get better in not ideal circumstances?
It's tough. I can't say I'm doing as well as I want to be, but I'm trying to work out as often and consistently as I can, and especially just being stuck in the house all day. It's hard to build a structure that I used to have at Mizzou.
You talk about what a motivating factor your teammates were for you and how responsible you feel to do your part. How did you feel about the way the team progressed?
We were rising really fast towards those last couple meets. I think we jumped from 20 or 19 all the way up to 14 in the span of a couple weeks. We were really hitting our stride. And knowing that it got cut short really put a fire under me, and I think my whole team is ready to get jump started on next year to really prove what a great team Mizzou Gymnastics is and raise its reputation.
And when you come back for your sophomore season, have you already started to think about goals and what may lay ahead for you?
Of course. I'm itching to get back in the gym. I actually, before the season even ended, I started brainstorming and writing down all these ideas that I wanted to get done for the following year. I guess after just 4 or 5 meets, I started to see how fast I was progressing and how much potential I had, which Shannon and my coaches had always said I had, but it was hard to believe until I saw it for myself, for it to present in the meets and in SEC conference. And so when I started to believe in myself more after I performed time and time again, I started researching and looking at upgrades and skills and even like dances that I wanted to incorporate in all of my routines next year, because even before I knew season was over, I was excited to get started on sophomore year.